Hi, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here for another PB&J card class. And today I will be featuring our new transparent set called So Loved. And this set has 4 really great critter images along with a really wonderful sentiment. And I will be doing the cat holding the heart today. So here's a list of all the supplies that I'll be using in creating today's card, including a list of the Copic markers that I'll be using to color the cat. And I'm just popping these up real quick here at the beginning of the video, and I will put them back up at the very end of the video on screen. And at that time, if you want to look at them in further detail, you can just hit pause and check them out. So to begin, I stamped this super cute cat onto Neenah Solar White cardstock using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I stamped it in my stamp positioning tool so that I was able to get multiple impressions and get a nice dark outline for the image. I'm coloring this cat in using Copic markers, but you could certainly use any type of coloring medium that you like, such as colored pencils or watercolors. I find these critters really work great with whatever you like coloring with. I've done them with all different types of mediums. Now I am keeping him sort of a gray color, so I didn't want to go too dark. I'm focusing my shading on the outer edges of the cat, and I am just speeding through here because it isn't anything too technical with the coloring. Just starting with my darker color, blending with my lighter, and in any areas that are transitioning from gray to white, I used a colorless blender to blend those out from the gray to the white. I'm adding a touch of blush to his cheeks and also to his ears. And here's where I'm using that colorless blender to sort of lift and move the color and help it blend into the white. Now, if you have not colored or used our critter stamps before, I really encourage you to give it a try. They're just such fun to color with. The cards, when they're done, when you give them to someone, it's such a surprise, especially if you typically don't make cards with these type of stamps, that they'll just be smiling when they give them a try. And they're easy to color and also very easy to cut out if you choose to fussy cut them like I'll be doing on my card. So to finish this card, I did fussy cut that cat image, and I'm going to use a couple of penny black dies from my stash. I'm using Tweet Things. The little flowers in this set are so handy, and I'm also going to use this beautiful flower die called Koi. So don't be afraid to mix and match your cute critters with some of your more elegant die designs. Now I did lay out my designs, including my sentiment, onto the card. As you can see, I was just holding those with the magnet so I could get my sentiment in place and work on my background. I'm going to stamp the sentiment using Versamark ink and then emboss it with white embossing powder. So I'm just patting my paper with an anti-static bag, and then I will stamp this with the Versamark ink. The anti-static bag just keeps the embossing powder from sticking. It will only stick then where you've stamped and not little specks of it all over your background. I am stamping onto Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is a nice smooth cardstock which is great for applying inks to, which we'll be doing for an emboss resist technique with this sentiment. So these critters can be used for Valentine, love-themed cards, hello, thinking of you, birthday. They're really, really versatile. So this card I was just keeping with a sort of encouragement, sending sunshine your way. And so that's what our sentiment will be. I'm starting with some teal zeal ink on this background towards the bottom. And you will see I did draw a little line where I have hand trimmed my hill. So I just know where that sky will be ending. And now you can start seeing that sentiment starting to pop. This teal zeal color is a really nice teal color. It's pretty dark and rich, so I'm starting with a light pressure and just doing multiple layers and then darkening it as I go. Next I'll add nautical blue, which is even a little bit darker. And this blue is a great combination with either the teal like I'm doing or with a more classic blue. So it's a really handy ink color to have when you're doing your backgrounds. You could also do this background with distress inks, as long as whatever you're using works for the emboss technique with the sentiment. Now I've grabbed the bamboo leaves, and I'm going to actually add just a touch of this up in the sky area, adding in sort of a more turquoise greenish look up in the sky. So don't be afraid to add some unexpected colors in your sky. They don't always have to be blue. Just checking there where that hill is going to go. I'm using a dry paper towel to buff off any excess ink from my sentiment. Now I'm going to ink this hill. This is just a hand trim piece of, again, the Neenah Solar White cardstock. And that bamboo leaves color is what I'm putting on here. But I am using quite a few more layers and a little bit heavier pressure. So it's definitely a darker version than what is up in the sky. And I'm even going to go a little bit darker once I saw it next to the background. Now, because the sentiment talks about sunshine and the cat is holding a yellow heart, I decided to add a little bit of a yellow tint up here, and that is really easy to apply right over that green. This is the color of Cantaloupe Memento ink. This gives a nice glow. Now I'm ready to color up these die cuts. So that I don't get any green onto the flower itself, I just put a piece of painter's tape there, and now I can use my sponge applicator tool to apply the bamboo leaves color to the die cut. And I'm using a pouncing motion since this is a pretty delicate die. And I'm checking there with my scene if it is the right lightness or darkness, and it was. Now I'll just mask off that stem using that painter's tape. And I really wanted a light yellow, and I love this color. It's called Pale Ochre. It's an archival ink, so you wouldn't want to do this with like an embossed sentiment. This ink would stain the color of the sentiment, but it's great here because we're just applying color to a white die. And then I'll take that cantaloupe color that we used up in the sky. This is a fingertip sponge dauber, and that allows me to just add that towards the center of the flower. Now I want those holes in the flower to be black, so I just took a tiny little scrap of black cardstock and I am covering up those holes there. Put a little too much glue, but I just dab it off with a paper towel. Now before I put this critter onto my scene, I am just taking a Memento Tuxedo black marker and just going around the outer edges of the cat, and this color covers any imperfections in my cutting. When you're cutting these out, you don't have to worry about getting every little strand of hair that's in the illustration. Just cut around the basic shape, and it's very easy to cut out and looks great when you're done. I will add just a very, very light touch of Vintage Photo Distress ink around the outer edges too, and that will finish it off and again hide any imperfections that the marker missed. I also from this set stamped and colored just a couple of the tiny little flowers and butterflies, which you'll see me adding to the scene here. I thought I was rolling when I put all those flowers together here. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I am so sorry. The hill is popped up on dimensional adhesive foam squares, and the rest of the elements are the flowers. The tops of the flowers are popped up, and the cat, his feet are even with the bottom of the hill, but his top part is popped up from the sky. These are those cute little flowers from the Tweet Things set, and I just nestled a few of them down here at the bottom. I love how that bright white ties into the embossed sentiment up at the top, and like I said, they are the handiest little flowers when you're creating these scenes. They just are, they can be cute or elegant, and they're easy to fit in. I'm adding a self-adhesive pearl to each of those. And the card is complete. Here's another look at that finished card. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've inspired to give these new critter stamps a try. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also connect with Penny Black on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, on our website and blog, and shop our online store. And I will link to all of those for you down in the YouTube description box below. And here are those supply lists used in creating this card.